मौलाना साहब, आपकी इजाजत।
बिस्मिल्लाह।
औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। Welcome everyone to this online celebration event for the completion of the summer 2020 online professional training event that was happening during the summer. Inshallah, we will have a very brief program, very interesting program, a very motivational program, and very informational program to celebrate this. We will begin with a Quran recitation. I'm going to invite Brother Murtaza Hussain to please come and start the program with a recitation of Holy Quran. I kindly request the camera focus to be put on Safi Raza so Murtaza Hussain can recite Quran. Thank you. Beta, you are on mute. Unmute. There you go.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Thank you very much, Murtaza. Brother Murtaza, I kindly request you to play a short video that talks about, gives a summary of what are the classes that went and give an overview of this session. Please watch this video and we will continue after that. Brother Murtaza, the video stopped. If you could replay that. Audience, please bear with us. As usual, the technology presentations usually has to deal with the technology challenges, and this is why technologist jobs are going to be there for a while. Okay, as the video is coming up. Okay, thank you, Brother Murtaza. If you could put the focus on me. Okay, um, audience, as you have seen the teaser video of all the classes. Now, the next section, we wanted to give you a more, brief description of what actually went in each of the class and give an overview of that. So we had 4 different classes, and we're going to have each of those sessions. Teachers are going to present a quick overview of that. So let me begin with mine. So let me share my screen. I have a quick presentation. And if the other members of the presentation team can give me a nod that you're able to see my screen. Yes, got it. Wonderful. Thank you. So the class that I was teaching is a web application development with Node.js. Node.js is the technology that we were leveraging. The objective of the course was to provide a introduction to a framework-based web development program. And for that work, we decided to use a specific programming language called JavaScript. And with that, we wanted to develop a interactive, dynamic e-commerce site. So this would provide a very comprehensive experience of developing a web application. And for our purposes, we were using a MySQL database to house the data. The class comprises of 10 training sessions that was being held on Mondays and Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So kudos to all of those individuals who were able to take the time out and attend these sessions. The sessions included lecture where the participants received information about how programs work, how HTTP, which is the web server, works, what are the underlying structures of actually managing the interactive nature of the application, web application, where the end user of the application initiates the task, program handles the tasks and provides the response. So these interaction required some conceptual knowledge to be passed on, as well as learning about the JavaScript syntax and understanding the overall process of the application. They were, there were hands-on development experiences that went along with the theory aspect, where the participants developed their respective programs in their respective environments on their PC and whatnot, and created their own database. There were office hours that were also set up, along with some one-on-one training for those who reached out and sought help. So Alhamdulillah, it has been a very good experience. Just to give you some background, in this particular class, we had about 179 registered members, but as they were overlapping classes, not everyone was able to attend, and due to their scheduling, there were conflicts and whatnot. So 179 people had registered. There were approximately around 40 to 45 people who were attending each of the Zoom session that we had for this class. But there were 122 email recipients who were sort of going back and forth, leveraging the lectures that we had posted on the YouTube channel, and they were watching that, following that along, and then, responding with questions and whatnot. So, and as you can see, the participants from pretty much all over North America. There were, folks from as far as Toronto in my class, as far as down south in Dallas, Texas as well. So a very good experience. A lot of people from the Chicago area and the suburbs were able to take advantage of it, but also we had a significant number of individuals. The size actually sort of denotes like how many participants in number of the quantity that is being represented in this pool. Okay. So just to give you some more background, when we talk about programming, what are the specific topics that were addressed? We talked about the web applications framework, how, what are the different frameworks that exist. We talked about the Java language syntax. What is the difference between the server-side programming versus the client-side programming? We focused more of our development on the server-side programming, where all the most of the database and application heavy lifting is there. We designed and developed routes, which are basically JavaScript programs. We developed CRUD functions, which CRUD stands for create, retrieve, update, delete functions. Those are the basic data management functions that are needed for any given computer application or web application. We developed HTML with embedded JavaScript, so to make our content that the end user sees dynamic. So it's a very complex topic, but Alhamdulillah, we were able to address most of that. Security is a big concern. We've enabled our application to receive encrypted passwords. So it's very important we force the end user to create their own passwords that get saved in the database very securely. And we manage, how do you manage the sensitive content? We defined a standard layout and structure, as well as leveraging cascading style sheets, CSS. We were able to beautify the presentation of our content, as well as incorporate images and other HTML controls. So very good set of programming topics that were presented. Now, as far as the database goes, which basically accompanies all applications these days, we leverage MySQL database management system. Because it was, it was readily available. It's very commonly used in the industry. And once you get familiarized with this environment, the other database management systems, it's very easy to pick up. We use MySQL Workbench. It's a database designer, database management utility. So you get familiarized with how to interact with the database, how do you manage content within the database and whatnot. We developed a e-commerce application, and in order to sort of set up the database, you have to go through the design process. How do you design the different tables? How do you establish the relationship? How do you put the constraints? So we went through the process briefly, and we were able to accomplish that. The database interacts in a specific language called Structured Query Language, SQL. So we learned some of the commonly used SQL statements that's pertaining to creating the database, creating the tables, creating index, altering table, which enables you to modify the structure, to add new columns, modify data types, and things like that. And then we also learned some of the data manipulation language statements pertaining to managing the content. For example, the inserting the data. How do you retrieve the data using the select statement? How do you update the existing data? How do you delete the existing data? So these are some of the brief list of SQL statements that most of the participants were exposed to, and they learned the behavior of these statements. Lastly, I just wanted to provide some personal observations. First of all, for myself, it was a very enlightening experience to go through this exercise. For most of you, this may have been the first experience that you had, but for me, and for some of the participants that you will hear from, this has been, IEC Husaini has blessed us with enabling this opportunity for a very long time. This is probably the 6th or the 7th session that we have been doing in terms of technology training. But this time, due to this current pandemic issues, we were able to do this online, leveraging IEC Husaini platform. So this was a very enlightening experience that has provided us the opportunity to reach beyond our imagination, at least my imagination. That certainly has expanded my social and professional network. And I got to meet a lot more people, people that were trying to do similar things, that are doing better things. I learned about them. So alhamdulillah, it was a very humbling experience from my standpoint. A couple of things that I wanted to also provide as my observation is the community overall across the globe, based on my experience, is eager to learn. And we need opportunities to enable them to learn. So um, we are the community, we are the community leaders. We define how we want our community to grow. So let's all pitch in, let's figure out how to do. There is one thing that I also uh, found out during this experience as well as in the past. There is a need for springboard opportunities where people who are going through some transitionary time, they need a springboard to enable them to jump into a new world. That's typically handled in technology area or in the technology industry within entry level jobs. So this is a need that I see, and inshallah, as time progresses, we will be able to uh, figure out collectively and provide that opportunity. So thank you very much. This is my last slide. Now, next to talk about the other classes, I'm gonna first request Brother Faisal Abbas to please share his information and his slides. So let me stop my sharing here, and then Faisal Bhai, if you could please take the share, and Brother Murtaza, if you could put the spot. Here you go. Wonderful. Please, Faisal Bhai.
Jazakallah Kumail Bhai. Would one of the participants nod their head that they are able to see my screen here? All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm not going to take much of your time. Pretty much majority of the content is overlap what Kumail Bhai has talked about. So I had the opportunity to discuss about the cloud computing fundamentals, and for that one we actually picked the AWS or the Amazon Web Services. The objective of that course was giving our students or our community members an insight about the cloud concepts, uh, the understanding of the base core services, and then we did extensive hands-on labs on the core areas, that covers the compute, storage, network, security, database, management, and monitoring. And mashallah, the response was overwhelming on that. As far as the structure goes, pretty much the same what Kumail Bhai just talked about. So we had 10 training sessions with twice a week cadence. Our cloud training were on Wednesdays and Thursdays, 6 to 8 p.m. They normally, bleed into, like they go over, half an hour or at times, an hour to cover, those critical topics. Along with those, we had the office hours over the weekends for any questions or concerns or comments or anything that is bugging our, our folks to give them, clarity on them. Along with that, we conducted several, one-on-one coaching sessions, not just only on the Zoom meetings, but also, over the email, over the phone, over the WhatsApp, however, they were comfortable, to communicate to us. All right, so coming to the next one here. All right, so as far as the participant goes, mashallah, the response was overwhelming. We had over 200 registrations, and about 90 some people they used to attend all our live sessions. We also introduced our offline mode as well, where all our lectures and the lab videos, they were posted onto the YouTube channel for the offline viewing. And this morning I was checking the stats. So we had about roughly over 1.4K views overall of our YouTube channel, and over 220 hours of watch time has been recorded so far. So those who were not able to attend the session or wanted to roll back and check and validate their stuff, they had the opportunity to go and check those specific videos and get the understanding. As far as participation goes, as you see at the right side of the slide, we had people from pretty much all the time zones in continent US, from West Coast to East Coast to Central Time Zone. We had people from Toronto as well, in Canada. And we had registrations from Pakistan, from India, and from UK as well. So this actually shows us that people are interested in learning about the newer technologies and these hands-on labs, and making them comfortable with the AWS console, that actually give them not just only an experience, but sparking them to explore more into it, and the possibilities are endless for them. So with that said, I'm gonna stop my share here. I'm gonna pass the baton to brother Safi Raza. He's gonna talk about his class here. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Faisal. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, you should be able to see my screen. Great. Let me just pull up my notes as well so I can talk accordingly. Okay. Well, assalamu alaikum, and Eid Mubarak to all the participants in Zoom and all the folks who are watching. First of all, my heartiest congratulations to all the students and all the teachers for a successful completion of the course. I also would like to thank IEC management for providing us all the assistance that we needed to conduct these classes. It certainly helped a lot. We live in a very different world today. Our personal information, our political and religious beliefs, likes and dislikes, and all the data that resides in a digital world, often unprotected and prone to theft and misuse. With a growing demand in the cybersecurity, because all of these items that I just mentioned and more, it was most appropriate to add cybersecurity course in our list of programs that we offer. So we started, that was the first shot at providing cybersecurity class. The way we structured our class is we divided it into 6 different segments. We talked about, and it was all, when we talk about security, it goes from one extreme to the other. It could be very dry, depending on what is your likes and dislikes are. It could be very focused on laws and regulations, and it could be very hands-on technical as well. So we went from, we crammed a lot of information in 20 hours and went from talking about risk governance, privacy laws, GDPR and other regulations, to data center design and architecture, threat modeling. So we jumped around a lot, and it was difficult, but I was glad that class was able to keep up with it. We talked about security and risk management, security architecture and engineering, communication and network security, identity and asset management, asset security, and security assessment and testing. These topics covers at least 95% of the items that are, or topics that would fall under cybersecurity. Some topics we were able to take a deep dive and get into the detail. Some we at least touched briefly upon. Class structure. So we had, similar to the other programs, we have 10 sessions on Wednesdays and Thursdays during the month of July. We had 2 outside speakers in 2 different sessions who talked about offensive and defensive securities, and they shared some of these hands-on techniques and share the experience. How did they start into the world of security, and what kind of background that they had. One of the good things about security is it does not matter what kind of background you have, you can always build on top of that, right? Whether you have a health professional, whether you are a technology professional, you can always bring something to the table when you get into the cybersecurity world. We also make sure that our recording of lectures and class notes are available online. I was using Google Meet, and so we shared accordingly with Google Drive, through Google Drive. So registration was kind of all over the place. We had some, because of the A, class overlaps, and B, different time zones. We have a less participation in the live class, but we have quite a few folks who are able to play the videos and then email me the questions accordingly. So with that, we had, you're looking at the map, we had people that I was able to get some information from: Chicago, Ohio, Minneapolis, Houston, California, Ontario, and even India. So India, we had a small group of students who was not able to join in live class, but they were able to watch the recording accordingly. It was great learning experience. Met very, very interesting people, and I love to see different backgrounds and a very diverse class. One thing I, as a part of IC's education team as well, I would like to highlight the fact that IC education classes are not targeting a specific group of community. Our classes are open to everyone with all different faiths, different backgrounds. Does not matter, as long as they are interested to learn. They're more than welcome to join our classes. We need to be a bit specific about this in the future. Hopefully, we'll be able to offer some classes that will help folks complete a specific certification, maybe some kind of boot camp, some kind of a week or 2 week long sessions where we can actually enable people to take their enable them to take their certificate exam as well. So there is, just like Kumail Bhai said, much interest in the technology classes. So definitely something that we would like to expand in the future. These are all the items that I wanted to share with you. Thank you all for assisting. And again, I'd like to thank IC management and my fellow teachers who helped make this happen. Thank you all.
Brother Qambar, you want to start with the...
Sure. Yeah. So give me a nod when you can see my screen and hear me okay? Okay, awesome. Assalamu alaikum everyone, and Eid Mubarak. So Firasath Bhai and I covered the Python and DevOps training. I had a lot of fun personally in this course. I was glad to see a lot of registrants and attendees. Because of some overlap with other classes, we had 190 registrants, but average attendance was around 25. Some days it was higher. So the topics that we, in terms of the registrants, they were from pretty much all over. A lot of people from Canada, people from overseas, and a very diverse crowd, not just targeted to the centers, which was great, to see. The topics we covered, and again, it was a 10-day training. 4 days were for Python fundamentals that were covered by Firasath Bhai. And then the rest of the 6 days, we went through Python web development, and I'll go through some of these in more detail. But the focus of this was to give people a chance to, reduce the barrier to entry and to make it easier for them to take on, computer programming and being able to create a program and have an application that they can deploy to the cloud so that they can present it to, some folks. And basically covered the whole range of topics from Python development from the basics. And then we basically used Yelp. Yelp, at the well-known Yelp website has an API that they expose that you can actually use to get data back from their site. So the focus of the program was, the focus of the entire class was to basically build a website and deploy it to each student's own cloud under their own accounts so that they can see it running, and also give them access to the source code via GitHub, so they can kind of understand the entire software development lifecycle. And then after that, we covered some DevOps topics. So let me just go through this in some detail. Like I mentioned, GitHub is a tool that allows for easier collaboration between software developers. It's also a way to make sure that you can put guideposts as you are developing your program. And it's easier to go back and basically look at what it took to basically add a certain feature, so that it's really great for beginners to be able to actually see and put all the pieces together, whatever it takes to build an actual website. So this is the website. This is running on my own cloud. Each student had their own. Basically, it was the page where they could put in, just like in a Yelp, put in a city name and the type of business they wanted to search for. In this case, we're searching for restaurants in Chicago. And then on the right side, it would actually give you some information about the restaurants, their address, rating, phone number, stuff like that. And the students were also given resources to basically, add more features to this website. Then we deployed it to Heroku Cloud under each student. That's how you were able to see that running. And now that was the fully hands-on portion of the course. And after that, we dived into some overview of some DevOps and cloud orchestration topics. We covered the new paradigm of cloud, the difference between traditional data center and the new cloud model. And the students were glad to see that. Then we covered continuous integration topics. There's a tool called Jenkins, which is used in the real world. It's kind of a complicated tool, but it's nice for the students to actually go and see that, and we actually used it. And then we covered a software-defined networking in the cloud. We basically provision an entire AWS environment using code. And this is not something that the students wrote, because this is a little bit more involved. And I basically gave them an overview of how we basically put that together. Along with that, we also created a manual environment in Amazon. And we dedicated a full class to it, so that the students can actually go back and revisit the the recording and create their own VPC network in the cloud. So that was the part that the students didn't need to know code to provision an environment. It was nice to see that, because we do that in our daily jobs, but it was nice to be able to also understand how all the components in Amazon are put together. And then we also deployed our application to AWS Cloud. Like previously mentioned, along with Heroku, we also had another option to deploy to AWS, and we did that. So this is basically an overview of some of the code we use to provision resources. And then towards the end, we covered some new paradigms in IT, the future of IT, along with virtualization, containers, and Kubernetes. And this was just like an overview of some of the day-to-day tools and techniques that software engineers use as part of their daily jobs. And so, like I mentioned, it was me and Firasath Bhai that did the course. Firasath Bhai, you wanna? I'll pass it on to you to say a few words.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Yeah, so my Qambar Bhai kind of walked through everything that we covered, right? So just some observations from my point of view. I think this is a good way for us also to kind of give back to the community. And if we could even help one person, I think it goes a long way. So if we are able to help one person excel and get a job, or even learn a new technology, like Kumail Bhai mentioned, right? Technology jobs are going to be always there. So it makes sense to put in some extra effort in this project that IEC Hussaini has. to encourage our younger folks, older folks, people changing, who wants to change their line of skill sets and learn new skill sets. That would be really good, I think. And for me, not only while teaching, I definitely learned some stuff myself, even from Qambar Bhai and from the students, from the questions that they were asking. So I think that was a really good opportunity to interact with the folks. And you saw that slide, we had folks from, even there was a participant from Lahore, across United States also, and Canada, pretty much. So just wanted to thank everybody, and also this is an opportunity for us to share. That's it, folks. Murtaza Bhai, if you want to pass it on to Kumail Bhai, or
Thank you, Firasath Bhai. Thank you, Qambar, Safi, and Faisal Bhai. Thank you very much. MashaAllah, the audience were, I'm pretty sure they were very encouraged as well as excited to see all the different programs that we were able to provide. At the same token, MashaAllah, the skill set and the bench strength that the community has, and the effort and the dedication to pass this knowledge to others. Now, the next speaker that I'm going to invite doesn't need a formal introduction. I am going to request our leader of the community, Hujjatul Islam, Moulana Sayyid Mahbub Mahdi Abadi Al-Najafi Sahab, who is the leader of the IEC organization, leader of the community, encourages people to share knowledge and provide us the guidance and the teaching of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam pertaining to that. Moulana Sahab, I request you to please share your thoughts regarding this.
You can say what is in cabinet shelves, you nahi aaye kuch bhi, but char diwar puri lag gayi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone.
Wa alaikum assalam.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Congratulations to all the students and the teachers. The students for their achievements and accomplishment in this professional classes, mashallah. It was a great opportunity for them to increase in their knowledge and their skills. And the teachers who have dedicated the time, who have shared their skills and their knowledge with others. It is really a great blessing for them. First blessing that they have is the skills that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them, and the knowledge that they have. This is a bounty of Allah by itself. But the other bounty, which may be a greater than this one, is the ability to share this knowledge and the skills and the potential that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Qur'an says, وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ, and spend out of what we have given you. Usually we read this ayat in the context of only money and wealth, that we should just share our wealth and our money. Yes, money is one of those things that we receive from Allah and we share it with others. But we receive from Allah so many things. وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. If you receive, if you want to count the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will not be able to do that. So we have uncountable bounties from Allah. One of them is our profession, our knowledge that we have. we need to share this knowledge with other people. And this is, you know, mimma razaqnakum, whatever Allah has given us, we are sharing it. So really, I am proud of such professionals in our community who care about their community. Profession or learning and going to college and being a graduate is not for yourself only. Islam doesn't have any room for selfishness. Whatever you do, have the intention to do it for the community, for the humanity. You should be able to benefit others in your life. And this is the real life. This is the true life according to Qur'an. If you don't benefit others, then this life has no value. So really, I congratulate the teachers who spend so much time without having anything in their mind that they will get any benefit out of it, except just to benefit others. There's a great, great intention. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the reward in this world and akhirah. And see that this is one of the rewards that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala given you, the teachers, that you have these many students and you have benefited with your knowledge, these many students. MashaAllah. I know that you are doing this great job for a long time at IEC. And it is our honor, IEC's honor, and the community's honor that we host such great programs for the benefit of our youth, our community. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you more. And the students who graduated today, for them my advice is this, that be just like our teachers. Make it a movement of sharing knowledge. You can, the teachers and the students both, and we, the community, we can collaborate with other professionals, with other fields, you know, to inspire and to gain insight and give them insight. This is a great opportunity today, and have a positive impact on the community overall by this collaboration in different colleges, different universities around the country, or I would say around the world. There are so many professors like you, like these, our teachers, mashallah, and many students like the students like you, see, who want to do the same thing. So you can expand your work, you can expand your effort. And this is a good time to do that. In this pandemic, as I always say, that there is something that we don't like from this pandemic. Of course, nobody like it. But the results of this, there are some positive things, positive aspects of it. We should look to the positive of it, you know, positive aspects of that. And one of those aspects is this, that you now, through online approach, you have the opportunity to benefit more people than you would do before, on site only. Even inshallah, next time when you do it on site, keep it online as well, and make this benefit reach to everyone in the world, mashallah. I don't want to take much of your time, but I would like to thank you again, the students, for attending these classes. And I pray for you that may Allah increase more in your knowledge and give you more tawfiqat, inshallah, and give you the tawfiq that you also share your knowledge. Be mentor for others and share what you learn. And I thank the teachers, all these, mashallah, great volunteers of our community who are not just the teachers here. Every single person that you see and you heard on the screen today, these teachers are great volunteers on other fields in the community. Every single one of these is working hard for the betterment of our community in different fields. They are, giving their time, their efforts, their energy, their skills. Brother Dr. Firasath Ali Sahab, Janab Brother Kumail Razvi Sahab, Janab Brother Qambar Mehdi Sahab, Janab Safi Raza Sahab, and Janab Faisal Abbas Sahab. All of them are not just the teachers today for these professional classes, but they are the leaders of our youth and our community in Chicago and outside. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase in your knowledge and your tawfiqat, and may Allah reward you in this world and akhirah, and may Allah also reward your families as when you spend your time for the community. So the credit also goes to your family members, your wife, your children, who allowed you to go and spend your time for the community. Of course, you took their time a little bit, right? So the credit goes to them as well, because it is their sacrifice as well. And may Allah and Mola both keep their blessings always on you. And I would like to see in the future, inshallah, these professional classes to be more organized, more professional, and more beneficial to more people. And of course, there are always room to make it better. Nothing in this world is perfect. We cannot make anything perfect, but we can make it best. And inshallah, I can see that. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Moulana. Jazakallah. It was very enlightening to hear from you, and certainly you have been encouraging all of us, and the credit actually goes to you, because you are the spirit that actually pushes all of us in this area. So Jazakallah, Moulana. The next speaker that I would like to invite, at least from my point of view, he's a very well-rounded, a unique person in terms of the capabilities, as well as his motivation, and has an encouragement, as well as his dedication to the community. A gem, calling him a gem is a light word. I wish there was a better term and phrase that I could use. My request is to Brother Mushtaq Merchant, who is the graduate of Kellogg School of Management, a CEO of Task Performance Management Group that specializes in B2B, business to business, data interchange, or electronic data interchange expertise. Encourages the community, participates in the activities, is a major donor for activities, events, and the growth of the community, not only from a building structure standpoint, but for other programs as well. So he looks at the overall community in a comprehensive way, and which is very good. And with his work that he does, they are one of the leading, Mushtaq Bhai, correct me if I'm wrong, they are one of the leading companies that are enabling business to share information with other businesses. When we talk about the growth in the business to business operations within the industry, within the technology industry, Task Performance Management Group is one of the core fundamental service providers in the industry. So kudos to Mushtaq Bhai and his team on that. With that, I would like to request Brother Mushtaq Merchant, to please share your thoughts, give us encouragement, and we would like to hear from you as well what the future of IT looks like from your vantage point of view. Please welcome Brother Mushtaq Merchant with a loud salawat. Mushtaq Bhai.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
So I hope that everybody can hear me. So I'm very proud to be able to speak to you and the opportunity that IEC has provided me in order to be productive and be able to help IT personnel that are a member of the IEC. So I'm very proud to be at this point to be able to speaking to all of you. At the same time, I'm actually very impressed with the program that was put in front of me by various of these teachers. Some of these technologies are very well being utilized in the current ongoing jobs and the projects. I hope you can still listen to me, hear to me, right? Okay. So having said that, Moulana and IEC, please accept my thankful reasons for allowing me to be able to speak to the community. I believe the community has progressed very well under your auspicious leadership, and Kumail Bhai, who is always been active and sharing his responsibility and education with the community. So I'm very proud of you. At the same time, I'm very proud of all the teachers and the talent that they brought up, and this is very impressive. Having said all of this thing, I want to congratulate the students for accomplishing the successful in the variety of the IET subjects that IEC has presented. To me, I wish now, sitting here, I wish I would have attended these seminars. So hopefully maybe the next time I will be one of your students, so and learn more from you, because I'm always for learning it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to walk you through my personal career of 47 years in IT. And as most of these teachers provided the statistics, I would probably say whoever is listening to this program today, I am probably the 95% older than the people listening to this program. So there goes my statistics. So 47 years of education. And I wanted to share with you some of the success and some of the failures that I have experienced in 47 years of my career. I came to United States in 1969, before most of you were even born. And being here from the community side of it, didn't have any family in here, but I survived. You have to have faith in your religion, faith in Allah, to be able to carry you through from some of these difficulties and the sacrifices that you make. Having said that, now that you have graduated, now you are allowed to dream about the new jobs, and probably one of the largest IT company eventually you can own at one point in time or the other. In my case, I own a small software development company. It's a very small company, but we are a boutique B2B e-commerce company. So what you have learned in these subject matters that 4 or 5 of the teachers have presented, they're extraordinary and they're very good for the current environment of IT. You mentioned some of the technologies. We are using it today, Python and cloud technologies, and all the technologies related to the cloud, the GitHub and development and putting your code onto the GitHub. I was watching Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella he was basically saying that he has 5 different things on his table today. And one of the foremost was GitHub, that they have just recently purchased and making all these developers making available to the developers to develop their code, test their code, and have the team participate in sharing this information. So my kudos to those people who have learned how to use GitHub. That's one of the upcoming, it's already been very popular, and it's an upcoming technology. I can't speak too much about the AWS because our technology, we're using Microsoft Azure. That's also a cloud, and they both, Microsoft AWS, Amazon AWS and Microsoft Azure compete with each other in a variety of ways. So knowing the cloud technology is very valuable, and whatever they have taught you in these classes are going to be very valuable to you for your future growth. So having said that, future growth, you should have a lofty dream that very high dreams that you can maybe possibly reach in a certain, with a certain experience. But dreamers also have to be a hard and smart working. Please note my word, hard and smart. Don't just work hard, but work hard and smart. You have to be smart to find out whatever you're working on it to say, how am I going to be able to do this better? You have to make the process, the existing process, to make it better. And that's what I'm meaning by smart working, not just hard working. Don't do the repeated stuff. Do better than what you have been doing. And that's the smart working. That is going to take you to some other higher places. When you say the smart working, is that when we design a system, the system has to be configurable into a variety of environments. You should have, it should be a parameter driven instead of a one-time code. These are very important so that you can develop better, add more features to it, and that configuration part of it is very helpful. When it comes to the certain success, and if you have attained a certain success in your lifetime, don't be arrogant. You have to work with your colleagues, your team workers. You have to be empathetic. You have to share your knowledge instead of saying that I am the right, this is the way it's going to do it, otherwise we're not going to do it. But that's not the way, that's not the right approach. The right approach should be listen to the participant in your team. Try to work with them, show where you are coming from, and have them buy into your thought process. And that makes it a better team performance in order to going forward. When it comes to the major decision makings, for example, variety of opportunities are coming and you need to make decisions. Ask your guts to see what kind of things that I am going to be able to enjoy, not only for the money side of it, but what are the things that I would like to do to enjoy my life. At the same time, I will enjoy my work. So the money cannot really buy you the happiness, but the enjoyment with the job and enjoyment with your work is going to bring enjoyment with the family, and you'll be able to have a better life going forward. Don't always look for money. Look for your gut thing to say what you think that your life is going to lead you towards. And when it is coming to the success, I just want to bring up again to the teachers, Kumail Bhai, Firasath Bhai, Qambar Bhai, Faisal Bhai. You are the example of what a religion teaches you is to volunteer. This is one of the main reason religion is teaching you to volunteer. No matter how you volunteer, It's not only the money that you contribute, the sharing of your knowledge or doing something for the benefit of other. That's what the volunteering is all about. The religion, Islam especially, preaches to volunteer certain amount of your time, whether you're working with the poor people, whether you're working with the educational, or whether you are a doctor, and then also volunteering on the side. So volunteer is a key thing for the religion part of it, in addition to your success in this life. The other thing is the charity. It is very important for us, all of us, to participate in the charity along with the success that Allah has provided you. Provide charity for the people so to make a better community, a better life for everybody. These are all my thoughts that I wanted to share with you. And again, appreciate the opportunity to providing me to speak to all of you. May Allah give you a success and a long life, healthy life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mushtaq Bhai. Certainly, your words of wisdom has always been very helpful and encouraging to me, and inshallah, the audience members will also benefit from you as well. Thank you very much on behalf of all of these, participants here to taking time out from your personal family time and giving us the ability to hear from you, listen from you, and certainly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Jazakallah. Thank you very much. Our last speaker is Brother Ali Asghar Ghatala. He's going to be speaking about the future, the IT, information technology, future direction. From his vantage point of view. Brother Ali Asghar Ghatala is also, skilled in various aspects of, the management, the technology, the community, the growth. He volunteers and he's part of several organizations, nationwide organizations, and he plays various hats in various circumstances. Has been very fundamental. Part of the growth at IEC Husaini, as well as other community organizations as well. He is in a very leading position at a Fortune 500 company, reports into the CIO, and has a very keen eye on the future direction. So, thank you, Ali Asghar Bhai, for actually devoting time from your personal family time and sharing your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions, your input to benefit the rest of the community across the world in this area as well. So with that, please welcome Brother Ali Asghar with a loud salawat.
Assalamu alaikum, Moulana. Assalamu alaikum, Mushtaq Bhai. Assalamu alaikum, Kumail Bhai. Assalamu alaikum, Faisal Bhai. Assalamu alaikum, Firasath Bhai. Assalamu alaikum, Safi Bhai. And assalamu alaikum, Qambar Bhai. Thank you very much. Kumail Bhai, I definitely don't deserve the kind introduction, and you've been very generous with the words. I'm truly thankful for that. Without much ado, I am going to share a few thoughts, and hopefully I will wrap it up within the prescribed time of 15 minutes. Please let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right. All right. So, mashallah, I have heard and seen the culmination of the past few weeks. Truly blessed to have such a visionary leader. Truly blessed to have such a vibrant community, community full of professionals. And I wish and pray that we continue to provide this sawab jariya, sadqa jariya to not just our community, but the community at large. We are in very unprecedented times. We have an invisible catalyst, if I may call it, that is wreaking havoc on not just human body, but I would say the whole human society. And the challenging part about this is that it is impacting individuals in very distinct and different ways. And it is also impacting humanity in very distinct ways. And because of that, there's really not much that can be ascertained or that can be predicted, because it is evolving. We don't know how to handle. It is an invisible organism, for lack of a better word. So before I get into a few slides that I have put together, let me start with, as Kumail Bhai had stated, I work for Allstate, been blessed to be part of this good organization for a little over 14 years now. The reason I put this slide in and all the organizations that make up Allstate is Allstate keeps innovating itself. It evolves. It started as a tire company, then they started selling cars, they started selling insurance. Now they have also stepped into emerging markets. They sell insurance for household electronic equipment. And in the last decade, as has been the case with every organization, we are not a healthcare organization. We are not an insurance organization. We are not, an automobile organization. We are basically a technology organization, and so is Allstate. So they started a technology company by name Arity. Again, the point here is, if you want to survive, you have to innovate and rediscover yourself. Fail, and then you're basically extinct. So what I would like to achieve in the next 11 minutes is basically go over what are the impacts of COVID-19 on industries, organizations, technology. And then from my experience, I share some recommendations. And I know that based on what I just heard from all of you, folks who have attended the class are either trying to enter the workforce or looking for better opportunities. So a few things there that have helped me, and that's things that I think every one of us should look into. All right, let me take you to down the memory lane on the recent technological evolution in the US. And I do that for a reason. For the past 2 decades, we have been seeing the wonders of technology. The market disruption began with YouTube, iPhone around the time 2004, 2005, 2006. The next 5 years basically were driven by the likes of iPad, Xbox, the business model, Uber. And then when we get into the 2014 and 15s, organizations were compelled to go back to the drawing board and see what they can do in terms of innovation and transformation. We were working through that. Most of the organizations were in a better place. They had a good footing. And lo and behold, we have COVID-19 in 2020. And everything and all that was planned, that is out the door. We are back to the drawing board. We are looking at things with a fresh pair of eyes. Again, as I said in the beginning, right, we don't know how this virus will play out. In a typical organization, right, the fiscal planning begins somewhere around August, and it goes for a few months. And then there's a few things, external inputs that organization factor in. Prediction for the next fiscal year. This is provided by research and advisory services, the likes of Gartner and Forrester. We went through that last year. We were doing really good. We were just fine till we hit Feb of 2020. And what all planning we did, what all predictions we were working with, they don't hold good anymore. It's again, back to the drawing board. For organizations to come up with the planning, right? There's typically 3 distinct types that Gartner defines. Type A, B, C. Type A is kind of a trailblazing. They use IT for competitive advantage. Type B is basically a kind of a follower, and they use IT and technology for productivity gains. And Type C is an organization that is a lagger, very risk averse. They would adopt new technology only when it makes cost sense, or if they are to comply with any of federal or state regulations. So these were the type of organizations up until Feb. Come 2020 March, there's a new model that has emerged. It is growth, adaptive, and survival. Growth, it's basically where they have exploited the opportunity that they were thrown into. A good example would be Zoom. Prior to this pandemic, the footprint of that organization was very minuscule. And now it is all over the globe. Adaptive, majority of the organizations fall into this. And a good example of this would be healthcare. Healthcare is an industry where technology is the backbone of it, but the adoption is and has always been a challenge. So now this pandemic is a catalyst for adoption, for the investments that need to be made by the healthcare industry in technology. The survival, the last type is basically the likes of entertainment industry, I would say, the hoteling industry, airline industry. They're basically cash strapped. Their only objective right now is to stay afloat. So with these three type of organizations that have emerged, right, there are three scenarios also, right? When you are to run an organization, or you know, we can use this for our family life or our professional life, individual professional life as well. Right? There are different scenarios that we can use to make an educated prediction. Scenario A is the pandemic peaks Q2, which we have passed that window. It did not happen, so that's not a valid scenario anymore. Scenario B is basically it's, you know, it lasts through the remainder of 2020, and then there is recovery in 2021, and there's 60% probability of this happening. And with this, right, what does it mean to the tech budget? So there's going to be some reduction, and Forrester puts a number on it, 9% in 2020, and then an additional 5% in 2021. The reason I'm sharing all these details is when you are looking for opportunities, these things play a very significant role. If you are looking to enter the workforce, these are some of the things that would help you narrow or help you evaluate your options in terms of employment. The third scenario is, you know, the pandemic lingers, and through 2021, the likelihood of this happening is 10%. And this model, there's really no way of predicting anything except, you know, it's just going to take a huge toll. So how is this impacting the industry across the board? And I highlight two of the significant impacts there. Accommodation, entertainment, and leisure, which is very natural, right? People are not traveling, people are not going out, they are basically hunkered down. There's no entertainment, theaters are closed, other entertainment avenues are basically shut as well. So that industry is going to take a hit of about 25 to close to 30% reduction in technology spend. Oil and gas, that industry was already going through a slump. We have had a barrel of oil, I think, selling around between $20 and $30. And this pandemic basically has made it very difficult for this industry. And then again, there are other industries as well that are going to be impacted, but it's not as much. So again, as I said earlier, right, when you are looking to enter the workforce, be mindful, right? You want to avoid, or if you are part of these industries, right, you may want to rethink few things. Right, again, some details here, and I will not go through it, but I will share the deck with Kumail Bhai, and he can share it with you folks, and you can read it through. It provides a little more detail. Same thing. So how is this impacting the workforce? Between 2000 and 2020, up until 2019, right, 4% of the workforce worked remote in any given organization. 2020 and beyond, that percentage is going to go up to 55 or 60. I can share with you my CEO of Allstate. He, in a town hall meeting, categorically said that he does not want employees to sit in traffic for hour and a half, when that time can be used very productively. So that's the new normal. Productivity was a major concern for folks who worked remote, but studies have shown that productivity went up during pandemic. Folks who are, well, all of us are working from home. And there's an incentive for organizations now to let employees work from home. At an average, an organization spends $14,000 to $16,000 on each employee to work on site. So multiply that by number of employees. Trust and security was a concern 2019 and earlier. It is still a concern. And things like organizations are looking into paying for the services that employees will be using to work from home. All right, so I'm moving into the leadership aspect and how that is playing out. So the CIOs are looking at cutting hardware spend. So you're going to see a reduction in technology spend in terms of infrastructure. They're going to pare back some new project portfolio. And again, what is driving this is we don't know. We don't know how this pandemic is going to play out, what effect it's going to have. And then review of cloud application subscription. What has happened in the recent past is IT organizations have subscribed to a lot of cloud applications. And it's crunch time now. And it is on the CIO, CEO's radar. And also renegotiating telecommunication agreements because a good chunk of employees are working remote. So it doesn't make sense to live into the same agreements. Outsourcing agreements also because there's on-site, off-site. A lot of agreements are based on the circumstances. So again, they're being renegotiated. And the last, which is a very difficult choice for any leader, is getting rid of the workforce. And that is a possibility in every organization. You have had cloud classes. So how does the pandemic impact the cloud business? What are the predictions? What we are seeing is consolidation of cloud vendors. You're going to see IBM leave the business or shift to a very niche aspect of cloud. Alibaba is going to make a big claim. So you will have three major players, AWS, Azure, and Alibaba. SaaS software as a service vendor will exit proprietary platforms and move to hyperscale leaders. There's a big interest in HPS. So that is also, again, it's cloud. So vendors are basically, to give you an example, Workday partnering with AWS, and Salesforce is partnering with Alibaba in China. As I said, right, HPS use in public cloud will grow. I think we have matured a bit, so there's a cost incentive there as well. And last but not the least, it's security. The Capital One breach. I remember in 2018, I had shared in the same class, if I may call it, that there's going to be a big breach. And that was a prediction by Forrester. And lo and behold, Capital One happened in 2019. And then again, it's a wake-up call, makes the leadership very nervous. And they are very, very mindful now of sharing data. Although cloud is, that's the destination of every organization, but there are some apprehensions as well. Cybersecurity, merger and acquisition activity will radically change, and it will weaponize data. What I mean by this is China is, the companies in China are acquiring companies in Europe and US. What the motive behind that is data. EU and US, they are taking measures to curtail such activities from players like China and Russia. So you're going to see a lot in this space. This is very interesting that local governments will seek disaster relief. So security breaches will now, any local municipal government or state government, they're going to tap into disaster relief for any damages caused by data breach. Mass data collection will drive 15% growth. What is happening is consumers are becoming very vigilant again about their personal data. This is a good market that is seeing a lot of vendors enter it. So they're basically anti-surveillance apps that you can stop other organizations from gleaning data from your cell phone or from your laptop or whatever platform you're using. 20% of enterprise customers will prohibit the use of their data for AI. Again, goes back to what I had shared under the topic of cloud. Organizations are becoming very vigilant about sharing their data, irrespective of any incentivized returns. The last one is really very scary and interesting at the same time. Deepfakes will cost business over $250 million. So they're basically, and I list one where a German energy company was defrauded of some millions of dollars by an attacker who spoofed the CEO's voice and convinced another executive to wire funds. So last year or year before last, it was basically some smart person created a bot that would watch videos on YouTube, and that's how he made money off of YouTube. This is something that I had shared year before last as well, and it still holds good, although H1 and the immigration is a big challenge, and add to that, China factor is also a big challenge. But one thing that I want to call out here is majority of the students who are passing out of grad schools are foreigners. And foreigners cannot work if H1 is not available. So that's a significant piece there. And then again, I also had shared these industries that were growing. Last thing that I want to share is read and learn. And I think Mushtaq Bhai also touched upon this. These classes in itself is a testament. But what I would recommend, advise is read non-IT related, read soft skill books or white papers, or read Harvard Business Review type of material. Invest time wisely and spread across a wide spectrum. Learn one skill, technical skill, become an expert in it, but then diversify. Right now, organizations are asking for everything under the sky from an employee. And this is really very, very important. You may want to start as an individual contributor, but keep an eye on management roles. See, you want to get into management as soon as you are comfortable, but don't wait for too long. And learn the system in your organization. Your technical know-how is not enough. Your contribution in terms of the work that you do for the organization is not enough. You make sure that you are part of other organizations within your organization. There are plenty. It definitely helps you grow. And then last thing is, you're moving away from specialists or SMEs, and we're looking for generalists. So soft skills are really very important. Be very diverse in your knowledge base, and be a team player. And that's all I have. Thank you. And I know that I apologize, I took more than the allocated time.
Okay, thank you, Asghar Bhai. Definitely very valuable information that you have shared, inshallah. If you could share this deck with me, I will make sure that we pass it on to all of the participants and our respective classes. We will definitely benefit that to make it available for the broader audience as well. Lastly, as part of the conclusion, I wanted to thank on behalf of IEC Husaini, trustees, alim, administration, board of directors, the respective teachers, Brother Faisal Bhai, Brother Safi Raza Bhai, Brother Qambar, Mahdi, and Dr. Firasath Ali Sahab. Your participation, your contribution in enabling a new channel of service to the community has been very enlightening, very beneficial. It is it is providing a new opportunity for these community centers to grow and expand their services. So, Alhamdulillah, this has been a very successful, activity. So, thank you very much for devoting your time and all the the participants, the students. We are all our students. I'm a bit hesitant in saying you all as in the participants, right? We all are in a continuous learning journey. So you have taken time to take advantage of these classes, and keep an eye on IEC Hussaini's website. There is an app on that you can download on your mobile. Whether it's on App Store or on Google Play Store, you will be able to download it. IEC Hussaini, get involved, get register to receive email, text messages, and all that. Stay engaged. We are working on a couple classes to be started soon. One is on machine learning. Okay, this is a very hot topic for data scientists. Using some complex Python algorithms and other programming capabilities on cloud to actually talk about machine learning. What does that mean? What are the underlying technologies? So, inshallah, Brother Abid Khan is working on that, and you will hear on that. And Faisal Bhai is working on actually providing a Azure training as well. So inshallah, you will hear about that. And the other teachers here, we will continue to do something similar or provide another or adjacent technologies or adjacent framework training regarding that. If any of you are interested in sharing your knowledge, your capabilities, your skill set to benefit others, please reach out to us, and then we will be able to provide you the platform to benefit others. On behalf of IEC administration, I also wanted to thank Brother Mushtaq Merchant for taking time and speaking at this event, as well as Brother Asghar Gadala as well. With that, I wanted to conclude this activity and event with a congratulations to everyone, as well as thanking Allah for this opportunity. May Allah and Maula accept this effort and recognize this effort as a serving for their cause to benefit the humanity, as well as sharing the knowledge to and basically following the footsteps of our Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Moulana, if I may request you to please conclude with a short dua, I would be much appreciated.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Thank you very much, Moulana.
جزاكم الله.
Murtaza.